Testing, testing. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. It's okay?
You're live, Tony. Everyone can hear you.
Everything's okay? Good.
Great. Thank you. Say hi to Romania. Yeah, say hi to everybody.
Okay.
Jim, did you just elect yourself to lead our opening nigun? Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Oh,
Lovely to have you with us. As I have just joked to Jim, we are indeed beginning our service this evening with a nigun. So I hope you'll join me in singing. And Jim, you have to be extra loud. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. La 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Yai la 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 la.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here in our sanctuary, and welcome to those of you who are joining us online via our live stream. It is wonderful to welcome in Shabbat together. I invite you to get comfortable, hopefully warm up a little bit from the cold, rainy, snowy, whatever's happening outside. Maybe if you're joining us online, the weather's better wherever you are. And we take a deep breath in as we invite in the warmth of Shabbat into our bodies, into our souls, as we will light our Shabbat candles and bring a little bit of warmth and light into our world. We'll join together on page 2.
Please join me in singing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We'll turn to page 10. Kabbalat Shabbat, the receiving of Shabbat. We'll join together on page 11, actually, the top of page 11. Dodi Li from the Song of Songs. My beloved is mine, and I am my beloved.
Dodi li vani lo haroeh bashoshani. Dodi li mizot olam min hamidbar mizot olam min hamidbar. Dodi li vani lo haroeh bashoshani. Dodi li libaftini achoti chala libaftini achoti chala. Dodi li vani lo
We continue that theme of welcoming in our beloved, in this case, the beloved Shabbat bride. Page 20, L'chadodi.
We'll use the refrain at the top of page 20 as well as verses 1, 2, and 9 at the bottom of page 21. L'chadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela l'chadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'diburecha השמיענו איך המיוחד, אדוני אחד, שמו אחד, בשם ותפארת אין לי תחילה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה. שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נפשוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, שלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהולה, תוך אמוני ים סגולה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת,
The end of L'chadodi ends with the words, enter, O bride, enter, O bride. The idea that we enter Shabbat and we enter in peace into Shabbat. So we also welcome each other in peace on this Erev Shabbat, this night of Shabbat. And we do that with the words of Shalom Aleichem on page 24. We say, peace be unto you.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Yasharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom Malachei Shalom Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni LeShalom Malachei Shalom Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom Malachei Shalom Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Yasharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Sometimes I think that the liturgists, the people who created our Shabbat worship and our other worship services, really knew what they were doing. Because in between each section of the service, there's a traditional pause. We, as part of our custom here at Sukkot Shalom, don't typically chant the Chatzi Kaddish, the half Kaddish, during services, but it is used as a pause, as a moment in between, as we transition from receiving of Shabbat, Kabbalat Shabbat, into one of the main sections of our service, the Shema and its blessings. So together, let's take a pause. Let's take a breath. We'll rise together as we enter into the Shema and its blessings with the words of Baruch Hu on page 28. You may rise in body or spirit. You may be seated. The top of page 33, please read with me. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atav Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. We continue on page 34. Words that come from our Torah, the declaration that God is one.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
We'll continue by chanting the continuation of the Shema, the Ve'ahavta, on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Right now in our Torah, we are at the beginning of the book of Exodus. We are at the core moment of telling the story of the Israelites' exodus from Egypt. We're in Parashat Bo, the parsha, the portion right before this moment of freedom. And we relive this moment of freedom each and every week and each and every day as part of our liturgy with the words of Mi Chamocha, which we will read in our Torah next week as part of Shabbat Shirah, where we sing the Song of the Sea. So together tonight, we will sing Mi Chamocha, our song of hope and freedom. Page 40.
Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu ve'ameru, ze Elianu ve'ameru.
We continue with the words of Hashkivenu. We pray that God will spread a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace over us and over the entire world. Page 42.
Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Leshalom, Leshalom. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim, Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Leshalom.
We turn now to our tefillah, our Amidah, our standing prayer. We rise in body or spirit. Page 46. We'll chant together, Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Hilatacha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה.
Page 52. Please read with me in the middle of the page. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. The top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. We'll pause for a moment of our own reflection and meditation. We'll join together again on page 62.
The bottom of the page, the words of Oseh Shalom, our prayer for peace. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru.
Part of our practice on Shabbat is to offer a prayer of healing. There is unfortunately so much pain and suffering in our worlds and within this community and potentially even within this room as well. So this evening we hold in our hearts, in our minds, anyone that we are thinking of who is in need of healing, whether it be healing of body, of mind, or spirit. We'll turn to page 253 as we offer these words of blessing.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yisheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Today marks the 78th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau. In 2005, the UN adopted a resolution to mark this anniversary as the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, a day to remember the victims of the Holocaust. The resolution itself condemns religious intolerance, incitement, harassment, or violence against persons or community based on ethnic origin or religious belief throughout the world. Unlike Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day is meant for the wider world to acknowledge the Holocaust and for the international community to promote Holocaust education. When we remember the Holocaust, we often say, never again, as a way to indicate why we remember and educate others about the Holocaust. It's essential that we as Jews and the wider community all remember the atrocities of the Holocaust. Judaism places particular emphasis on remembering. In this week's Torah portion, Bo, we read, Zachor, remember this day on which you went free from Egypt, from the house of bondage. For with a mighty hand, Adonai brought you forth from this. We are commanded to remember several things in the Torah, the first being the Exodus from Egypt. In fact, in traditional Jewish circles, it's tradition to read out loud every day during our prayers a list of 6 things we are commanded to remember in the Torah, including Shabbat. We are commanded to remember because we know without constant awareness, thought, and focus, we'll forget. And most importantly, without passing on these remembrances onto future generations, they will forget, or they will never know. Rabbi Jan Urbach, a professor at the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York, points out, beyond the specifics of what we are to remember, the very notion of remembering as a religious obligation and a spiritual, intellectual, and ethical practice is itself unusual, even extraordinary. Rabbi Urbach suggests that we as human beings are forgetful on a very basic level, as well as a spiritual level. and that remembering is part and parcel of the Exodus, because active remembering, consciously shaping our consciousness, is essential to freedom. In order to maintain our freedom and the freedoms of others, we have to recall what it's like to live in slavery. It's why on Passover we're taught to remember the Exodus as if we ourselves personally experienced slavery and journeyed to freedom. Remembering the 6 remembrances, including the Exodus and Shabbat, we are taught to remember what is important to our existence as Jews. The Exodus of Egypt being one of the core origin stories of our tradition. But memory is also core to our universal existence, and it's what allows us to be free. I personally love this idea of 6 daily remembrances. The Torah gave us these: the Exodus from Egypt, standing at Sinai, the incident with Amalek, the golden calf, when Miriam was punished for speaking ill of Moses, and Shabbat. So we think of these 6 remembrances as a core spiritual practice, a daily practice of remembering. So what are our core 6? What are key stories that we as individuals and as a community should remember every day? If you had to make the list for yourself, what would be on your list? As an individual and as a collective, what would you remember? Maybe it's your family's origin story, or your own personal story of freedom. Maybe it's modern historical moments like the Holocaust or the Civil Rights Movement. Whatever it might be that makes up your core 6 remembrances, I invite you to think about what those would be to you. Since we're talking about memory and remembering, I'll even invite you to write them down, since it's likely we might forget. I invite you to create this list of what you want to consciously remember each and every day, just as our tradition teaches us to zachor, to remember each and every day. Today, as the international community and Jews around the world remember the Holocaust, and by that communal act of memory, we work together to bring awareness to the Holocaust and to the wider community. Together, I hope that we can use our memory as a force for good, to remember so we, in turn, never forget. Shabbat Shalom.
On page 349, at the bottom of the page, I invite you to join me in singing the words of Eli, Eli. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamel leolam, hachol v'hayam, lishus shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam, hachol v'hayam, rishus shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam. O Lord, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
We turn to our concluding prayers. Aleinu l'Shabbat, page 282. Please rise in body or spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 287.
ונאמר וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we turn to memory, we'll turn to page 291 as we sing Yesh Kochavim.
There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light. Long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember, as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו ונם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורות אלה המפיקים בחשכת הליל, הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, הם שרים לאדם את הדרך.
Page 293. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Tonight, the Sukkot Shalom community remembers Charles Pinkman, Leanne Benson, Melvin Miller, Phyllis Silverman, Barbara Backman, Marion Wild Wick, Annette Brill, Willis W. Woody Wick, Alice Richmond, Benjamin Hurst McShane, Jack Browerman, Joanne S. Crown, Donald Mills Strauss, Meyer Strasberg, Nanette Rogers, Byron Novitsky, Yvonne Soar, Lisa Cohen, Mari Turman, Ella G. Turman, Meyer Turman, Edwin J. DaCosta, Mari B. DaCosta, Jill Colin Parker, Ralph Marshall Gorin, Eli Fishman. Are there any other names that you would like to recall this evening? We'll rise together for the words of Kaddish Yatom. We hold in our hearts as well all those who perished in the Holocaust. Page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam umei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudasha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Dam miram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen.
Shabbat Shalom. A reminder to please join us in 2 weeks on February 10th at 6 p.m. for Missy Bell's formal installation as our Director of Education. We hope you will join us for service and dinner following. We hope you'll join us next week as well for Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat where we read the Song of the Sea from our Torah. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.